Hey everyone, I'm going to talk to y'all today about hurricane aftermath survival. I know that's not my normal topic, but I have been through it twice, well, 3 times. 3 days after we closed on our house, Hurricane Rita hit us. We did not have substantial damage. We did have to have a new roof, and that was it, thank God. But then Harvey flooded us with 4.5 feet of water. Stayed in our house for 6 days, the water. And then we were out of our house for a year and a half. And 8 months after we got back in, Imelda hit, and we had 3.5 feet of water in our home and it stayed in for 6 days again. And we were out of our home for an additional 8 months. And we learned some things the hard way. And I want to make this video today to hopefully help save some of the heartache that we went through, because it was a disaster. As if losing everything you own isn't a disaster enough, what happened to us was truly disastrous. So after Hurricane Harvey, you're just devastated. You're not prepared in any way to lose everything that you have. Unless you've been through that, you're not going to understand it. And we went through a lot of trauma, as I'm sure a lot of you are going through right now. Before we even got back to our house, our oldest son was separated from us. He was trapped in an attic for a couple of days without food and water. We didn't know how he was. We had no contact with him. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, we had no contact with them for several days. I don't know, 4 or 5 days. We did not know if they made it out of their home. We had no idea where they were. And so that in itself started just a high level of anxiety. Leaving from the floodwater, me getting my other 2 sons out of our home, driving through water, trying to get out of the house and get to safety, and seeing cars flooded over their rooftops. It just started out so traumatizing. So you go into this situation already traumatized, and then you have to deal with vultures. You think that whenever you're in a situation like that people want to try to help you, but it seems that people just really want to take advantage of you, and I hate that. I really hate to I try to see the good in people, and I always want to see people as good people, but you really need to go with your that deep gut instinct whenever you're choosing your contractor. But before you even get there, I'm going to start from the beginning. Your new job, because your old job is probably damaged and you're not going to be able to go to work for a while because your entire area is destroyed right now. So at least mine was. So your new job is going to be calling FEMA and SBA and Red Cross. You're going to be on the phone for hours on end. That is your new job. On hold, listening to hold music. But that's what you're going to do. Your insurance company. We didn't have flood insurance the first time. So if you don't have flood insurance, you're going to be on the phone with these people. FEMA is there to help you, regardless of what is being said. Take the FEMA assistance money. You do not have to pay that back. They will not come after you. A deed to your home, none of that. That's all fake news, not true. FEMA is amazing. While I was displaced from my home, my family stayed in a bed and breakfast. We stayed there with some FEMA workers, and bless their hearts, they were in their 70s, and my God, they were working 13-hour shifts and then come into the bed and breakfast and then doing their computer work until the wee hours of the morning. I mean, like, they were running on 3 hours of sleep, and it went on for months and months and months. They were working their butts off to try to help as many people as quickly as they could. They were going out and looking at people's homes and doing their appraisals. FEMA is there to help you, and they will help you. You need to trust that. They're going to give you the money that you need to get you started. They do not ask for that money back. The FEMA money is a grant. It is there to help you. It has nothing to do with immigration. That's a whole separate thing. The FEMA money is there. I've had to use it twice. I know it's there. SBA, that's a loan from the government, from the Small Business Association. That is a loan, and they can and will garnish your wages if you do not pay that loan back. That's a whole different thing. That is a loan, and you cannot file bankruptcy and not pay them back. So that's different. It's a very low interest rate loan. I think it's 1% or something like that. It's a super low interest rate. I do have an SBA loan, and it is very large. It's bigger than my mortgage, and it's because of the story I'm going to tell you about contractors. But you do have to pay SBA back no matter what. They don't care if you die. If you die and you still owe them money, whatever life insurance, whatever you have, they get their money first. SBA, they get paid. So think hard about the money that you get from SBA. Now, contractors. First of all, I'll get to that in a minute. You will have to wait in line a lot. You're gonna be in line for lots of things. In line for water, in line for MREs, in line for that's meals, in line for FEMA assistance. You're gonna have to wait in line to different things, all different kinds of programs. You're gonna have to be in line for a long time, days on end. So I recommend you buy a square ice chest that has wheels on it so you can sit on it while you're waiting in line. Fill that ice chest with ice and water and grapes and apples and things that you can snack on while you're waiting in line, and you can give to the people around you, because elderly people are also going to be in those lines, and they're going to be passing out, and they need water. People around you, I mean, they're going to be handing out water in different places, but whenever you go to those lines, no one is going to have water, and no one's going to have food, and you're going to be in line for the entire day. Get there early, but you're still going to be in line for the entire day. Get yourself an accordion folder, or a box, something to keep all of your receipts in, because you're going to be buying a lot of stuff, and you need a receipt for every single thing that you buy, to give to your insurance company, to give to SBA or whoever you have to deal with. You're going to need to give them every single receipt. Get a notebook and write down every time you talk to an adjuster, a government agency, whoever it is, write their name down, write their badge number down, their contact information, write down your SBA information, your PIN number, all of these things. You're not going to remember anything. I don't care how smart you are, how good your memory is. You have been through a disaster and your brain is going to be scattered. You're not going to remember things. So write it down. Write it down, write it down, write it down. I can't tell you enough times. Write things down. Keep that folder with you, the notebook, at all times. It's going to be your Bible, whatever. You're going to need it. A phone charger in your car, because you're going to be in your car a lot. You're going to be, if you can, order one of those little solar phone charger things, because you're going to be, like I said, out in line a lot, and your phone battery's going to die. An extra phone battery pack charger. Okay. On to contractors. You want a professional contractor. Y'all, I'm a Christian, okay? I believe that Jesus is my Savior. That's my belief. It doesn't have to be your belief, but it is my belief. But I do not want a contractor that comes at me saying, I'm a preacher, I'm going to take care of you. Those are the people that screwed me the worst. Every single time somebody came to me saying, putting their religion first, gosh, I don't know why. I don't know why it is that it has to be that way, but that's the way it was. The first people that came to us to help us was a church group that came to help us gut our house. Those people stole my husband's bag that had all of his diabetic supplies. My husband is type 1 diabetic. He had everything. His pancreas is basically outside of his body. He has a little, looks like a pager, little square pump that connects with the tubing to his body that has insulin in it. It has a little cartridge that goes in that pump, little tubing, vials of insulin. That whole thing was probably $12,000 worth of supplies in insulin. It was 3 months supplies in that bag. And also his job had given him $5,000 worth of gift cards to Home Depot. One of those people from the church that came in from Mississippi, they saw him checking his blood sugar. Also glucose test strips were in there. And the guy says, "Oh, you're a diabetic?" And he said, "Yeah, type 1. And the guy said, "Oh, my sister's a diabetic." And they chit-chatted about it. I saw him out of the corner of my eye talking and I didn't really pay that much attention. They kind of talked for a little bit, and my husband put his bag away and in the garage on a table. That was the only surface that you could set something on, was in my garage was a table. Other than that, by the time this church left, my house had no interior walls. There was nothing left. So everything else was out on the street. And right now y'all may not be able to imagine this, but when you look through my house, you could see everything, through the entire house. It was just the exterior brick and then the interior framing work. No sheetrock, no, you could just see straight through the house. So it's not like, oh, it's hidden, we misplaced the bag in a closet somewhere. No, it was gone, just gone. So we called the guy that sent them to us and said, hey, I think they accidentally took my husband's bag whenever they left. When they packed up their bags, they accidentally took his bag. They said no, they didn't. But my husband and I, went out to the street, and piece by piece by piece, we moved every single piece of sheetrock, carpet, every single thing, furniture, everything. We moved every single piece of debris looking for that bag, and it was not there. We moved it from one side of the ditch to the other, and it was not there. It was gone. Well, it didn't walk away. It walked to that guy's van, and he took it. So that was the first thing that happened. Second thing that happened was we used an out-of-town contractor that came in saying he was a Christian youth pastor. He was going to take such good care of us. Oh, I'm going to take good care of y'all. And he, told us all about how he preached and all this and that. And we were so devastated, and we just I wanted to get us back in our home. We had just adopted a kid that was a type 1 diabetic. He was 14 years old, and you cannot live off of street fast food and MREs, and when you're feeding 2 type 1 diabetics, it's impossible. It's not healthy for them. They're not going to, it's awful. So I needed back in my kitchen. I needed my life back. I needed normalcy. And so I was in a rush to get back in my home. And this guy, he gave us a bid, and he kept giving me invoices, and it would say, the first thing it said was gutting. Well, we'd already gutted our house, but he did have to tear out, like they didn't gut the shower tiles and pull out the hard brick and stuff, tile work out of the showers and stuff. So he said that's what gutting meant, but that in plumbing was on that first invoice, and I paid it. But I kind of thought for a second, that's a little high, but okay. But at the end of the day, I have a contract that says I'm going to pay this amount of money, and this is part of the contract. So this is the first invoice. So, and he had signed with me with SBA, like he's my contractor with SBA. And in that SBA contract, he signed that he would not be able to put a lien against my home if he did not finish my contract and I did not pay him out the total amount of my contract with him. And I thought, well, that's weird. If he doesn't finish my work, why would I pay him? How would he be able to put a lien against my home if I don't pay him and he didn't finish the work? Isn't that weird? Like, how could he do that? How can a contractor not finish your job but put a lien against your house because you didn't pay him the money? They can do that. They can put a lien against your home, your title to your home, if you don't pay them the total contract, even though they didn't finish the job. They can do that. So the second contract, the second invoice said electrical. and they were working on electrical. They had wires run through every stud in my home. So I paid that invoice. And then the third invoice said sheetrock, and they had put up sheetrock. So I paid that invoice, and then they never came back. 3 weeks went by, and I was texting the guy, "Hey, are you gonna finish my job? Where are you?" And I get to looking at how much money I have paid this man, because he's given me invoices for work that he's doing, and I'm paying him because he's telling me that I owe him money, and I am in shock. And I'm a nurse, so even though everyone else is not working and the world around me is in complete chaos and my brain is in complete and total chaos, I'm still an ICU nurse. I gotta go to work. My husband is safety manager at a refinery, so he's gotta go to work. Before I realize it, I have now paid this man 80% of my contract. But the plumbing that he has done, when I look back at those receipts, in the fine print, in the little bitty fine print, it says fixtures are in place. Fixtures are in place. I have a giant hole in my bathroom floor. I don't have a toilet. I don't have a shower. I don't have a bathtub. I don't have a vanity, a sink. I have nothing. I've got a giant hole in my bathroom because he had to redo a pipe. He dug a giant hole in the front bathroom. There's not a thing. Nothing. There's nothing. There's pipes. There are no fixtures. There are no fixtures. There are pipes. Pipes. In the electrical, there's a whole bunch of wires run through the studs, but they're not connected to a darn thing. Nothing. Nothing is connected anywhere. But in the fine print, it says ceiling fans are hung. Light switches are in place. No, I don't have a ceiling fan. None of that's done. What in the hell? The sheetrock is hung. It is not taped and floated. It is not painted. But it says that. It says that in the tiniest of fonts you can imagine. It says it. Y'all. But what protected me was that even though I had paid him 80% of my contract, he could not put a lien against my home. Now this man, later, he's on the news in my area because the other people that did not sign a contract with him with SBA that had flood insurance, and they just paid him from their insurance money. He put liens against their homes. He did the same damn thing to them, and he put liens against their titles. So that was jerk number one. And that was $68,000. And I had no livable home. But SBA said it was livable, or FEMA said it was livable because it had a roof and 4 walls, so I could live in it. all you have to have. It's a roof and 4 walls. The next guy came highly recommended by my husband's boss. He's a good Christian guy. He's not licensed or a professional contractor, but he's a jack of all trades, and he's not going to do you wrong. I've known him my whole life, says my husband's boss. But we have to give him cash up front because he's not a professional. So we do. $20,000 to get him started. He takes that $20,000 and we don't see him again for 2 weeks. We're calling him and calling him and calling him. And my husband's boss says, "Oh, you can trust him. He'll be back. He'll be back." Finally, he comes around and he says he was embarrassed. He's so embarrassed. He's so sorry, but he bought the material, and then on his way to our house, his truck broke down with his trailer on it, and he left the trailer there to get his truck fixed, and someone stole all the material. Well, because, we're still in shock, and my husband's boss says he's known this guy his entire life, and we should trust him. We do. We trust him. But we don't trust him enough to send him on his merry way with more cash. We go buy the materials ourselves, and we have the materials at the house, and he starts working on our house. Well, this guy starts creating more problems so that we have to pay him more money. And when I say creating more problems, I mean he dug up a pipe in my backyard and said that we had a busted water pipe. We didn't have a freeze. How did a pipe just randomly bust underground? But we had to pay him. We had to get it fixed because now we got a flood in our backyard. I'm 100% positive he created, but I got to pay him extra to fix it. This man did all kinds of stuff. I can't even remember all the crap that he did. Oh, he hung our shower tile with sheetrock mud. He hung our shower tile with sheetrock mud. But it was okay. It was okay. It was going to stay because he never ran water to the shower. There was no water run to the shower. Literally, no water routed to the shower at all. Our hot water heater was up in the attic. I don't know why it's not there now. We totally changed that design, but that's how it was when that's how it was. So anyway, he took our new hot water heater and put a old rusted hot water heater up there. Y'all, I'm not making this shit up. This is real. This is real. Christmas Eve. He demands that I give him cash I can't even remember. He wanted $1,500. I'm assuming he needed to buy his kids Christmas presents. But he was supposed to finish the shower. I was not going to pay him until he at least finished the showers because he was making no progress. I mean, I don't know. Imelda hit, I think it was in September, and it's Christmas. It was August. It hit in August. And it's Christmas. And I just wanted in my house. And I told him, if you get the shower complete, I will pay you $1,500 if you complete the shower. So he used sheetrock mud to make it look like he finished the shower. No water. Sheetrock mud. No shower pan. So, truly vet your contractors, okay? Because I ended up paying, I mean, even my tile on my floor, he put the tile down on dirty cement, so every tile came up. So then I had to buy all new tile, and I had to pay somebody to pull up the tile because it didn't all just pop up easily. Some of it did, some of it just pop. But then some of it didn't just come up. So we had to pay for the removal of the tile. We had to rebuy tile. So long story short, $120,000 of wasted money. Wasted money. Truly, truly, truly vet your contractor, okay? You want a professional contractor. Your contractor, you should only have to pay them 10% down. The contractor that rebuilt my house, that finally rebuilt my house, he didn't ask me for a dime. Not a dime up front. He came in, rebuilt my house. I paid him when it was complete. When Imelda flooded us, he called me and said, "Miss Susan, I got you." The water was coming in. I was sitting on the couch and the water's flooding around my feet. I'm just sitting there and my phone rings and he says, "Miss Susan, I got you. Don't call another contractor. I got you." $10% is what you should pay a contractor. And then when they're finished with the job, you pay them the completion of the job. So, you can take money from FEMA. They will not ask for that money back. Any money that FEMA gives you, you do not have to pay back. SBA, you do have to pay them back. Every dime. No matter what. Even if you die, you pay SBA back. Your children will pay SBA back. I wish that SBA, they did send an adjuster out at one point to make sure that we were actually working on our house. I wish that what they would have done at that point was say, "Hey, ma'am, you know, your invoice says that this was done and this was done, but actually you only have this done. Maybe you ought to look at that." But they didn't do that. They just kept giving me more money. because they'll give you all the money you need, all the money you ask for, they'll give it to you. Any money that you ask for, they will give it to you, because you know what? They're getting their money back. SBA will give you all the money you need. Any money you ask them for. You just say, I need it because, and they're going to give it to you. Because they're going to get their money back. They'll garnish your wages. They'll take your life insurance. If you sell your house and you don't get enough money, you still have to pay them. I don't know exactly how that works. I know my neighbor across the street ended up having to cash in her 401k because she didn't sell her house for what she owed on it. So I don't know. They get their money. I wish they would be more vigilant in the process of how they dish out the money, how they help you when you're in this disaster, in this but I guess they only have so many people working, and there's only so much they can do. So, I mean, in our case, and probably in most of you, everyone in my family was in the same shoes that we were in. My brother flooded. My brother-in-law flooded. My mother-in-law and father-in-law were flooded. My mom's and dad's house was flooded. Everybody, all of our family members, we didn't have each other. We couldn't help each other because we were all out of the same boat. We didn't have a boat. And I know all of you guys are going to be in the same situation. So, if I can answer any questions, if there's anything that I can do to help, I don't know. I'm praying for all of you. I'm so sorry that this has happened. Man cannot control weather. If man could control weather, I'm pretty sure we would stop it. Be kind to each other. I know that as a frontline worker, whenever I was in those lines, I paid attention to the frontline workers that were there, the FEMA workers, the Red Cross people. They are as exhausted as you guys are, because they don't have anywhere to sleep either. You know, they're sleeping on cots or on blankets on the floor in the centers where you're waiting in line. They're sleeping behind screens in that, wherever you are, that's where they're sleeping. Because the hotel rooms, you know, that all of you folks are occupying right now, they don't have, I mean, they don't have rooms. All of the FEMA workers, the Red Cross workers, the SBA people, every volunteer that is there to help, they came in from out of state. There's not anywhere for them to stay. They're sleeping on floors, on cots, in sleeping bags. And they're hearing your stories over and over and over, and it's heart-wrenching. And a lot of people deal with grief with rage. And so they're having to absorb your rage. They're having to absorb your tears. And it's hard for them too. So, just try to be aware of how you're approaching the person next to you, because everybody that's in this area, whether you're living through it personally or you're there, or they're there to help you get through it, you're all in it together. And if you're just kind to each other, kindness can go a long way. Just be kind. Just be kind. And it's going to help you. If you're kind to the person next to you, it's going to help you better deal with your situation. Anger does not help you. It's not going to help you. It only makes it harder. So, peace to you guys. I wish you well. Reach out to me if there's any questions that I can answer. I will do my best to try to answer them for you.